Olá a todos, sejam bem-vindos. Vamos começar mais uma nossa live especial, desta vez com uma convidada especial, Malena DeMartini. Olá a todos! Já temos pessoal aqui a interagir. Temos aqui pessoal, Clara Pereira está cá, Natasha, Andreia, Cecília. Sim, hoje nós começamos ligeiramente um bocadinho mais tarde, pedimos imensa desculpa, sei que nós normalmente somos sempre pontuais, 9 horas certinhas, estamos aqui a começar, mas como nós estivemos aqui a ultimar pequenos detalhes com a nossa oradora convidada, Malena DeMartini, diretamente da Califórnia, veio aqui falar um bocadinho connosco, então eu estive aqui a interagir um bocadinho com ela no backstage, e foi por isso que demoramos mais um bocadinho, pedimos imensa desculpa a todos desse lado, mas de certeza que vocês vão gostar e vai valer a pena 5 minutos extra que nós demoramos aqui para começar esta live. Já temos aqui pessoal a interagir, a entrar aqui na nossa live. Boa noite, olá, boa noite a todos, boa noite Marta, olá Sónia, olá Alexandra, olá Clara, tudo bem convosco? Olá Diana, exatamente. Espero que esteja toda a gente muito bem desse lado e toda a gente esteja contente e feliz para mais uma quarta-feira aqui numa mega aula gratuita, sendo que hoje não é uma aula gratuita, hoje é uma live especial com uma convidada maravilhosa sobre um tema ainda mais bombástico, não é? Que havíamos que este tema é muito importante. Foi um tema que nós falamos a semana passada e nós não podíamos deixar de explorar um bocadinho mais, tendo em consideração que isto é um tema que tem muito para se falar. Eu quero só deixar aqui umas pequenas notas, porque a nossa convidada já está aqui no nosso backstage, portanto eu não vou demorar muito desta vez, vai ser muito pouco de encher chouriços, vai ser direto ao assunto. No entanto, as praxes, não é? Portanto, a primeira coisa é, por favor, peguem nos vossos telefones, façam um story, identifiquem-nos no Instagram, ok? Eu não tenho aqui o meu telemóvel, senão já estava aqui a tirar uma fotografia. Mas pronto, fica já para quem estiver desse lado, façam, que é para nós podermos saber quem é que está desse lado, que é para nós podermos saber quem é que nos assiste. Façam um story, identificam-nos, portanto, a identificação está aqui, @dogsummit_official, só para nós podermos saber quem é que vocês são e de onde é que nos estão a ver. Portanto, façam a story, que é para nós vos podermos também seguir de volta. E pronto, já temos aqui mais pessoas a entrar. Boa noite, Ricardo. Boa noite, Maria. É isso mesmo. Digam-me uma coisa, está toda a gente entusiasmada pelo dia de hoje, pela live de hoje com a nossa convidada? Quem não está, digam-me aí no chat se vocês conhecem a nossa convidada, se já tiveram a oportunidade de dar uma vista de olhos quem ela é, o que é que ela faz, mas também, se não tiveram, vocês já vão receber todas as informações já de seguida, dentro de muito pouco tempo. Que ela vai já temos aqui. Qual a previsão do tempo desta live? Diana, normalmente as nossas lives duram uma hora e meia, mas eu já não digo nada. Se a Malena quiser ficar aqui a falar, o importante é nós termos aqui tempo de antena, que é para ela poder estar aqui um bocadinho connosco, partilhar um bocadinho do seu conhecimento. Mas pelo menos uma horinha e meia podes contar aqui com ela e vais-lhe poder fazer perguntas. No entanto, quero deixar já aqui um grande disclaimer. A live, a partir do momento em que a Malena entrar, vai ser falada em inglês, ok? Quem não entender muito bem inglês, eu recomendo que no próprio YouTube, aqui no cantinho, acho que é neste cantinho aqui, tem tipo uma rodinha onde podem tentar ativar as legendas automáticas e que o próprio YouTube acho que tem essa funcionalidade ativa e vocês conseguem pelo menos ter aí alguma tradução do nosso áudio. Eu não sei se isto dá automaticamente para lives ao vivo ou se é depois só quando tiverem gravação. Mas era só para vocês saberem que a Malena não entende português, então, como é óbvio, a nossa live vai ser toda em inglês. E, como em inglês se diz, without further ado, não é? Vamos chamar a nossa convidada. De nada, Diana, de nada. Espero que gostes e espero que vocês interajam com ela, porque nós trouxemos lá aqui mesmo de propósito para estarmos aqui um bocadinho connosco, partilhar um bocadinho de conhecimento, porque quero esse chat aí a pipocar, quero esse chat aí cheios de perguntas, cheios de coisas maravilhosas e elogios aqui à Malena, para recebê-la aqui com braços cheios e fazer senti-la que ela é amada aqui nesta comunidade em Portugal, a nossa querida comunidade da Dog Summit, ok? Que é para nós depois, no próximo ano, conseguirmos trazê-la para os nossos eventos físicos. No entanto, não vou demorar aqui muito mais, nós depois falamos um bocadinho sobre as iniciativas que ela tem aqui para nós. No entanto, olha, está aqui a Marta a dizer, acho que as legendas não funcionam em live. Pronto, Marta, obrigado pela informação. Maltinha, se não conseguirem entender muito bem inglês, depois assistam à gravação, ok? Porque na gravação de certeza que depois essa funcionalidade lá está. Portanto, vamos trazer então aqui a Malena, vamos fazer sentida aqui super amada e vamos mandar aí imensos comentários a dizer olá Malena, olá, que é para ela se sentir super amada, ok? Que é para nós depois podermos trazê-la aqui no próximo ano para fazer uma iniciativa aqui connosco, ok? Diana, sim, a gravação depois vai ficar durante um tempo curto, ok? Porque depois estas gravações vão apenas estar disponíveis para a nossa academia. E nós, como é óbvio, vamos fazer sempre aquele desafio, ok, dos likes. Portanto, nós temos neste momento, estão 43 pessoas a ver, então vamos fazer assim, Diana, a gravação só fica se nós, neste momento, conseguirmos ter, no mínimo, 35 likes. 35 likes para nós podermos ter aqui a nossa live, para depois a Diana poder ver a repetição com legendas. Vá lá, Diana, é a tua deixa para ir aí ao chat, puxar por toda a gente, ir aqui em baixo, não custa nada a ninguém, chegar ali, clicar no botão do like, ok? Que é para fazer com que a gente chegue cada vez a mais pessoas e a mais conteúdos. É a vossa forma de nos ajudar, não custa dinheiro nenhum a ninguém, ok? E vocês ajudam-nos imenso aqui a melhorar o algoritmo de YouTube para que nós conseguimos chegar com esta live cada vez a mais gente e com um conteúdo de qualidade. Portanto, clica aí no botão do like, ok? O desafio é chegar no mínimo às 35 likes, ok? Temos 42 pessoas a ver, portanto temos de ter no mínimo 35 likes, que é para a Diana poder ver a sua live com legendas. Malta, toda a gente aí a clicar, que é para nós depois podermos também ajudar aqui a Diana. Mas pronto, já chega de encher chouriços, ok? Que a Malena já está aqui no backstage e, portanto, já está aqui, é isso mesmo. Muito obrigado, Margarida. Está aqui, Malena, we are all ears. Portanto, without further ado, let's bring our special guest. Malena, say, are you okay? Can we bring it on? Perfect. So, here we go. Já está o like, muito bem, José, isso mesmo, muito obrigado. E cá estamos. Hello, Malena.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me here. And I already feel welcome that Margarida said hello to me in English. That was so welcoming. Thank you so much. And I should have asked you how to say hello in Portuguese. So I was going to be reciprocal, but I will say hello in my English, and hopefully that's okay.
It's perfect. But even though I can tell you, it's hola. Hola, it's our.
Hola.
It's almost similar to Spanish. So
Spanish.
You're okay. We are okay.
Okay, we're okay. Perfect.
We have lots of people saying
love
hello to
it.
you.
Look, Sofia, Alexandra, Jose, Elizabeth, Celeste, and Marta. This is so much fun to see everyone. Hello, Sonia. Hello. And I can kind of read the ones, I can get an idea a little bit, the ones that are in Portuguese. I get an idea from my limited Spanish. I can understand some.
Yeah, perfect. Because you are in California, right? So
I am
you have a little Spanish on your family. You told me now you're from Puerto Rico, right? Something.
My mother is from Central America, and my father is Italian. So I have some Latin language in my background.
Exactly. Perfect. So yeah, you're in good family. You're in good people. So lots of people saying hello, welcome, hello, welcome. So I hope you are feeling the love. I hope you are feeling the love.
I am very much feeling the love. This is wonderful.
Thank you very much, Malena, for your time. This has been a wonderful day for us. In order for you to accept our invitation to talk for our community here in our social media. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for the time that you are spending to be here and talking a little bit with us. In all the name of Dogs Up, in the name of everybody that is here, thank you very much.
Wow, I'm really honored to be here, and I do definitely feel very welcomed by all of these lovely comments. So this is exciting for me too.
Perfect. So shall we start with our content? So with our little talk. So how can we start? Probably, I think the best way to start is just to let you do a small introduction and tell people that are here in our live, who is Malena and why are you here with us?
Oh, how fun. Well, yes, my name is Malena DeMartini, and I have been a dog professional now for 22 years. And almost that whole time, I have been exclusively working with dogs with separation anxiety. And there's so much that has happened and evolved in those 22 years. But in the last about 10 years, things have really accelerated. And I have seen so much transition. I published my first book quite some time ago, and my second book was published in 2020. And with the advent of both of those books, separation anxiety has been placed on the map, truly. When I first started working with dogs, every trainer, every professional I knew said, I will do anything except for separation anxiety. And now there are so many people that really are so interested in this very impactful issue of dogs that are unable to successfully be left alone. So I'm just really grateful that I fell into such a extremely unique and nuanced behavior issue. And yeah, that's who I am. Other than the fact, I will say, you mentioned I live in Northern California amongst the vineyards. I have 2 dogs, both of which are recovered from separation anxiety. So not only do I have 22 years of professional experience, I have a lot of years of personal experience with my own 2 dogs as well.
Amazing, amazing. I was just trying to get a picture of your book so we can show people that your books are available to. Oh yeah, you have them there, perfect. And I have also here one. You can buy it on Fnac, so there's no excuses for researching on this material on the best known specialists. So if you really want to know a little bit more, there's your reading list. Okay, go to Fnac.
Well, let me
and
make
ask-
sure you know. Let me make sure you know that is the first book, the one that you just shared. I don't know if my current book is available, but I recommend people go to the most recent book instead of the first book. So that one looks like this.
Yeah, I didn't find that one in the Portuguese website of Fnac. I just found it on Amazon.
Okay.
But yeah, that one, it's the most recent one. I'm just trying to see if I can get it here. But either way, we can move along on to that. So there's no excuses, people. There's 2 books on separation anxiety from Malena. I got them on our posts. So if you really want to read a little bit more about this material and this topic, Malena DeMartini, she's the best one on the earth on this material. So that's your reading list for the rest of this time. So thank you very much for sharing a little bit of your story. But do you want to tell me a little bit more? How did you came to be a dog trainer, and how this whole thing developed of the separation anxiety specialization?
Yes. Well, I actually did not start as a dog trainer. My younger years in college, I was first, believe it or not, I was a music major. I used to sing musical theater and opera. And then my second year into college, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be waiting tables my whole life. I better do something different. And so I decided to change my college learning to business and international economics. So very different than dogs, right?
Yeah.
I graduated college and went into business. I actually worked in the wine industry as a statistician. And I point this out only because I think it'll be interesting for people to know that while working with separation anxiety, we gather a lot of data and we crunch a lot of numbers. And I have the very good fortune of having the background in statistics that has helped me really learn how to work with this issue. But I got very tired very young in corporate America, and I just thought, oh, can I do this for another 40 or 50 years? And the answer in my head was no. And so I left corporate America and started my educational journey into animal learning, dog training, and learning theory. And it was an eye-opening, incredible experience that it really changed my life. And I owe it to a dog that I had many years ago, 24 years ago, that really opened my eyes. And you and I were talking the other day, where you were explaining to me that you did get some bad advice previously, and that opened up the door. And that was a very similar story for me. And
Wow.
yes,
Yes.
yes. I started the dog trainer that this was a long time ago, but the dog trainer that I was working with was recommending the pinch collar and many things that I really did not understand to be appropriate, but I didn't know what else to do. So that's when my educational journey began. And boy, did I learn a lot, and I'm still learning today. And I hope to learn until the day I die. So I think we're all evolving every single day. And it was very interesting because I really didn't choose to go in and start working specifically with separation anxiety. Separation anxiety just sort of happened for me, and we can either talk about that now, or we can go into another topic and return to why I decided.
No, you have the mic. Just
Okay.
go for it.
Okay. Well, I often tell people separation anxiety chose me. I did not choose separation anxiety. As a matter of fact, I think I came to separation anxiety kicking and screaming a little bit, like, no, no, no.
Not again.
Not that, anything but that. Yes. Um, so in my educational journey, I learned about separation anxiety, but I didn't really know all that much. It was just one of the many topics that we discussed briefly as a behavior issue. And so when I graduated and finished my education, um, one of the very first clients that called me said, I really need help. My dog has separation anxiety. I don't know what to do. And I said, wow, okay, I want to be fully honest with you. I am a very new trainer, and this is a very complicated behavior issue. And so I would rather send you to a much more experienced trainer. And this was a very pivotal moment for me in my career. I'm on the phone with this lovely woman, and she starts to cry. And I mean, cry, full crying, right? And she says, okay, it's okay if you have to refer me to another trainer. But please, she said in her tears, make sure it's someone that can work with this issue, because you are the seventh trainer that I've been referred to that says, no, not separation anxiety. No, not me. And
Like the topic that nobody wants,
nobody,
right?
nobody wants. And I felt horrible because I knew I was going to give her 2 or 3 names, and I knew they would probably also say, no, I don't take separation anxiety. Nobody wanted to work with separation anxiety 22 years ago. And here she was crying and everything. And I thought, okay. So I told her, with all full honesty and full transparency. And I said, I'm a very new trainer. I know the basics of what we can start to do for training, But I want you to know I'm not an expert in this topic. And so we're going to have to work together and see what's working and what's not working. And if we need an expert, we're going to have to bring in an expert. And so she agreed, and we were very, very successful with her case. And her dog, I remember this dog so well. His name was Guinness. And we used to say, okay, Guinness, it's time to go to the pub. And then, we would do our leaving. And I thought, oh, see, I know how to treat separation anxiety. But what happened was I was living in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's a small community. And what happened very quickly was that all of the local trainers and dog professionals heard that I had been successful with this separation anxiety case, and I got inundated. I mean, every professional in the area started referring all of their cases to me. And I realized very quickly that I truly did not know what I was doing. And that was when I started my journey, learning, researching, trial and error, helping clients to decide all the different directions. And it took me about 10 years before I felt comfortable with the protocols that I developed.
You said 10 years.
10 years.
10 years to develop the protocol in order just for you to say, okay, now I'm confident enough to show this work that I do and try and apply it into other dogs and clients, right? So that's honorable. That's 10 years of researching. So that's a lot of time and dedication on your part. So that's really lovely on your side.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing story that you have. And I find it fascinating that all around the world, when I meet people like you, when I talk to people that to come here to Dog Summit and to talk with us, I always find this particular situation in common in everybody, which is the same thing that you said. I've got a terrible experience and that motivates me to do better.
Yes.
That's the same here for us in Dog Summit. We got a terrible experience with our dog, Lubito, and that motivated us to do better.
Yes.
And of course, we wanted, after we do better, we wanted to share that situation with the whole world. So that's what we are doing here, and that's what you are doing also with your knowledge and certification that you do, right? So maybe we can skip to that, so we can talk a little bit more about your protocol and your certification, your separation anxiety certification a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So yes, as I said, it took about 10 years to develop my protocol, and then it took another, let me think, about 2 or 3 years before I started publishing and making very public what are the protocol that I had developed and putting it out there more widely. And it was in 2014 that I was starting to feel really overwhelmed with the number of clients that were being referred to me. And I realized I have to teach other people how to do this because I can't take every client by myself. And I had a wonderful friend, someone that I think you would enjoy speaking with. I'll tell you about that another time. But a wonderful friend named Veronica Bautel, who I reached out to, and she said, maybe you should take on an apprentice because you need the help and you should teach someone. And I said, oh, okay, good idea. And then a couple days later, I called her back and I said, if I teach an apprentice, it's going to take a lot of work, and that person is going to be filled in a month or two. They're going to be at capacity. And she said, oh yeah, maybe you should do 2 apprentices. And as soon as she said that, both of us went, Okay, maybe I should just spend the time to develop an actual training program to teach multiple dog professionals how to work with separation anxiety. And I have a funny secret about that. I thought maybe three, maybe five people might be interested, and after that, nobody will care. Nobody wants to learn about this stuff. And now we have over 200 certified separation anxiety trainers all over the world in almost every hemisphere. So I was wrong. More than three or four or five people were interested. So yeah, I developed a program to teach dog trainers and other dog professionals, veterinarians, etc., about how to implement training and treatment for separation anxiety dogs. Our program is over 100 hours of instruction. It takes place over the course of 3 months, and we have the most amazing high caliber trainers from all around the world that join us for this program. Oh, and thank you for sharing that. Yes, this is the page, and we are also recommended by the American Veterinary Society of Animal Behavior. You can get all sorts of details on my website here about when and where and all the experience requirements. You can see the in-depth discussion about what you will learn. And it's not only is it a really, and I guess I'm not very modest, not only is it a really amazing program and the only one of its caliber and its kind, but we have fun too. We really have fun. And the community of certified separation anxiety trainers, or CSATs as we call them, is truly one of the most enjoyable communities that I have ever been able to be a part of. And I feel so proud that we were able to create it.
Perfect. I'm just going to put the link on your website here
Thank you.
on the chat so people can go and research a little bit on themselves. I'm just going to put here on the pinned message so everybody can just go there and check it out. It's a lovely website, has lots of information. Has lots of resources, so plenty of reading material for you that really wants to go deeper on this subject. Malena DeMartini, it's the perfect woman for you. So check it out. It's really easy. MalenaDeMartini.com. It's really easy. It's on the pin masses on the chat, so you can just check it out and read a little bit more on the program and the conditions and everything around that. So you already talked a little bit about the certification. Any detail that you would like to share on the story, on how it came to be, and the like a funny story that you would like to share on this this part on the certification and stuff?
Yeah, well, I already sort of alluded to this, but I'll tell you that this is the insider story. Okay. So, when I was developing the program and I was telling my friend, oh, maybe three, maybe four people would ever be interested in this, my friend said, oh my gosh, this is brand new information to people. This is going to be so exciting. Everyone is going to really want to learn about this. And I said to her, this is nothing new. I haven't done anything different. Everybody knows how to do desensitization. I haven't come up with anything new. And she said, I am a very nice woman, and I would normally not say come back in the end and say I told you so. She said, but I'm going to wait, and a year from now I'm going to say I told you so. And sure enough, a year later, I had a long wait list for the program, and the students that went through our certification program kept saying, I can't believe how much information, I can't believe how much I've learned. I can't believe how my eyes are open to not just separation anxiety, but so many potentials for behavior modification. And so she did indeed not only say, I told you so a year later, she sent me a card that all it said was, I told you so, with her signature on the bottom.
It was a lovely gift, right? So just a reminder of never to doubt yourself.
That's right.
Just to put on on the vision board,
Vision board.
okay, Malena, never doubt in yourself. Anything that you believe you can accomplish, and it's out there for the reach. And that's amazing. That's a lovely story. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Thank you for sharing. I don't know if you already saw, but there's plenty of questions on the chat.
I've been eyeballing, and I think, oh my gosh, we might be here until 3:00 in the morning if we get to go through all these questions.
That would be lovely. We are going there in a minute. I just want to just get a little bit more out of you in your story about separation anxiety, and I want to ask you, because our main theme right now in Dog Summit, because we already had a meeting. I already explained you a little bit of our story, how did we came to be, and our mission and our values here at Dog Summit, which you already know. It's 3 pillars, which is positive dog training, natural food, and holistic veterinary and integrative medicine. So in order to talk a little bit about this, the main thing that we are addressing now, I was missing the word. So the main thing that we are addressing right now, it's body language and communication, because that's going to be the next class that we are going to do next week, which we are already also going to talk about in the end of this live. And I want to take the opportunity to ask you, what are the main signals that our dogs give us that can tell us that they suffered or they can start having separation anxiety?
This is such an important question. And boy, we could talk about this topic alone for a very long time, believe me.
Yeah.
I think before I even answer that question, I just want everybody to know that separation anxiety is actually a phobia about being alone. And I want to point that out for 2 reasons. The first is, by definition, a phobia is completely irrational to the person that is not experiencing it, but very, very real and very rational to the individual that is. So in this instance, the dog feels like this is the scariest thing that is happening to me, but the dog owner is like, this is so stupid. I come back every time. Why, right? Indeed, it is a phobia, and by definition, it doesn't make any sense to us, but it is very, very real to the dog. And I'll take that one step further and remind people, like, people that, let's say, are afraid of flying on an airplane. Many of us are like, well, that's silly. The airplane is a safer mode of transportation than driving a car. But that doesn't matter to the person that is terrified about flying on an airplane. Okay. So that is what a phobia is. And so now, going further into your question about what kinds of symptoms and indicators and signals do we see with separation anxiety, I think the number one thing that we have to do when looking at a dog and trying to determine whether they are experiencing separation related problems is to use either live or recorded video. And the reason for that is that, a lot of dogs, let's say, bark when left alone because the neighbor's cat walks across the windowsill, or there's people walking their dogs in the neighborhood and they're barking. And many dogs might even chew something in the house because they're bored. There's so many reasons why dogs may be either barking, destroying, or even eliminating, so peeing or pooping in the house when alone. And we want to actually see what is the dog's general state of being when left alone. If they bark for 30 seconds and then they go on the couch and sleep for the next 2 hours, that's not separation anxiety. If they bark out the window at the dogs walking by, that's not typically separation anxiety. But the unbelievable difference between seeing a dog that is showing signs of distress, like panting, pacing, whining, crying, barking, chewing at the door or at the window. These are the more common symptoms. There are so many potential symptoms, but it's very hard to determine without seeing the confirmation on a camera. And that is the information that not only do we get as dog professionals when we work with clients, but I think it's also the information that we want to be able to provide our veterinarians so that they can understand the scope of the problem.
Perfect. I feel very excited because you just validated our contents, and that's amazing to be aligned with a world-renowned specialist. Because, like I told you last week, we did a small class on this topic, and I talked about that exact point. We cannot know for sure if our dog has separation anxiety unless we do live camera video and check it out for ourselves, because just arriving at home and our dog barking, it just is excited because we arrived. It doesn't necessarily mean that he has separation anxiety, right? Barking because we got out of the home, like you said, for a couple of minutes and then he stops, it's not separation anxiety. And the only way we can confirm that is with the video, because even if we use other people, we are messing with the normal situations where the separation anxiety would manifest. So we don't have the same situation that would manifest. So it's compromised, the statistics, the analysis, it's compromised. So the only way we can keep it as pure as possible is just use a camera. And that's lovely. Thank you very much for this great insight, because it's a small detail but it provides such a huge difference. Yeah, it's a small detail that provides like a huge impact and difference on the whole scope of the training and the analysis of the dog's behavior, right? So it's amazing. So we had a couple of more questions here, but I think we are already 45 minutes into our live. We already been talking for at least half an hour, and I think we got pretty inside the theme. And let's scroll here for a couple of questions, if you dare.
I will dare away.
So let's go, people. I'm going to scroll back here. There's a lot of good comments. By the way, thank you very much for everybody that sends love to Malena, which is the most wonderful thing, so she can feel that we love her here and we want her in Portugal. We want her in Portugal in 2023 to do an event, a physical presential event here. So let's just get first comment here, which is from Margarida Palma. Margarida Palma. I own 10 dogs and I would love to know how should I act whenever I have to leave 4 of my dogs and return to my hometown. They look sad when I drive home.
Oh, they look sad. Well, I think, good news. It is easy for us to say, I say it all the time, My dogs look sad. My dogs look worried. My dogs look this. As human beings, we often project and impose what we are concerned about onto what we see in our dogs. And so this goes right back to what you guys were talking about this last time and what we just discussed this time. We need to look at video to see, are they sad, because that is a construct. What are they doing? Exactly what are they doing? Are they crying? Are they drooling? Are they panting? Are they pacing? Are they, barking, barking, barking? So many different things. But I can tell you that when we talk about separation anxiety, I hope this translates well. Let me know. We have to operationalize and really understand, what is the dog actually doing? There's a difference between saying my dog looks worried and saying my dog is showing the whites of his eyes and panting. Two very different things.
Exactly.
So, how should you act whenever you leave? If your dog's, we'll go with your statement, they look sad when you drive, right? When you drive home. If they look sad and then 5 minutes after you're gone, they are playing or sleeping or doing normal behaviors, then you leave in whatever manner that you normally have, right? Because you don't have an issue there. You have a dog that says, hey, we have to remember this, right? Dogs are social creatures. We bred them to be social creatures. And so, of course, they would prefer that you were home with them. But if they're like, wow, that was sad, I really wish she was here. Okay. I guess now I go play, I go eat, I go sleep, I go do my stuff. Then it's really okay. Now, if they truly have separation anxiety, Margarita, then we have to start changing and start implementing some training, maybe having the right babysitter when you go to your hometown. But I would take time to really observe and measure the behavior that you're seeing once you are actually gone.
I would like to just to tell a little thing more, because I want to ask what's your opinion on this, because something that I normally see when I see people telling this, I think my dogs are sad. Normally, it's not the dog that is sad. It's normally that we are sad about leaving them,
That's right.
and they react to our sadness. It's not that they are sad. They just they react like physically, facially, like their expressions are like, okay, you are different, okay, and you are sad. I don't know why, but you are sad, and we are like, oh, I'm going to leave that. Maybe we're just thinking about it, but that manifests in our emotions, and they can pick it up and they can sense that, and then, okay, something is not right here. My owner, it's not normal today, and they normally they manifest that, right? So it's really nice to see that it's not the dog that is sad. It's normal. It's our interpretation.
Absolutely.
So perfect. I hope. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I said absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Margarita. I hope your question got answered. Next one, Sophia. I have been working at home for a long time, but now entering back to normal and everyday time, I have to go out to work. It's like this is like the basis for your work right now after like the pandemic and everything. Everybody is having this problem. She's shaking and panting exactly. Is anything I can do to make her more quiet?
Okay. I don't want to sound like a broken record. And maybe when you say she's shaking and panting, you are referring to what she's doing when she's alone. But if you're saying she's shaking and panting when you leave, and then she also 5 minutes later goes and curls up on the couch and goes to sleep, I will tell you that this is what we can work on from a habituation standpoint or an acclimation standpoint. She's just not used to you going to work. Now, that will start to get better and better and better over time if it is not separation anxiety. If you are actually using live video and you see she's shaking and panting as you get ready to go, and then she's starting to, and she continues to tremble and pant and maybe whine or any of these other indications or signals, then we need to start to implement a very succinct and direct protocol to help her. Okay. So the first piece of this answer to this question is, what are we really observing? And is it about watching me leave and then she's shaking and panting because she has to watch me leave and she's not used to it, and then she settles down once I'm gone? Or is she shaking, panting, etc., the entire time you're gone? And if that is the case, then absolutely we do have to intervene.
Perfect. So another question here from Anna. She wrote a lot, so let's try to get through her comments. So my dog is 3 years old and he has this problem, is that he has gotten worse to the point of receiving me in a panic and only being able to take a deep breath after a few minutes of being at home, and he is calmer. In 3 years of his life, the dog has these episodes every week, not even with natural medication, CBD, we calm or hemp cookies. Okay. And is there any improvement in terms of training? Tips: what can I do so that this well-being is not compromised and he can improve and stay calm? Thanks for the attention of the answer. Thank you, Anna, for this lovely question.
Thank you, Anna. Yes. So, one thing about separation anxiety, one of the indications that we truly have a separation anxiety behavior problem is that it stays the same or more commonly starts to get worse over time. And the reason for this is that we are taking, let's go back to the example of, I am afraid of flying. Okay. Well, if I force you to go on an airplane every single day, either one of two things is going to happen. You're going to go, okay, I can just handle it. Or you're going to start to get worse and worse and worse to the point that when someone shows up to bring you to the airport, you're already panicking, right? It goes back, it starts to bleed backwards. And anything, even imagining an airplane, even packing the suitcase, you will already start sweating and getting anxious and shaking, etc. So, what you're saying here is that it has gotten worse over time, and the continued exposure to a stimulus that causes extreme fear typically means it'll exacerbate the problem. And I know that that sounds, maybe a little overwhelming to hear, but Anna, I want you to know that you are already off on the right step because you are recognizing this in your dog and you're realizing that you want to do something, and you've tried some natural alternative remedies to help him. I think, yes, him. And I want to make sure that you understand there are ways that we can implement training. And my answer will be a little insufficient today, but in November, we are going to talk a lot about what the training looks like, how to implement the training, how you can start to move forward and make progress with your dog so that he is not panicking and not being put in the situation on a daily or weekly or monthly basis where he is simply rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing this panic anxiety behavior.
Perfect. You are already spelling the beans.
I spelled the beans.
So,
I spelled the beans.
So it's great. It's great. We are here to help people and to bring Malena to our community. So perfect. We are going to have her doing a masterclass for our online community, but we'll get into that in a bit. Let's just finish our questions here. I have another one from Rita. Hi, thank you so much for your time. I really like to ask you for your opinion on a situation that has become usual for my dog. Every time my family and I leave the house, my dog stops eating.
Good question, Rita.
Sorry,
Oh,
sorry to
there's
interrupt because we have more. Yeah, we have someone that goes see my dog every day when we are away. So whenever that person appears, my dog eats. Otherwise, it will starve itself. I wish I could help my dog overcome this problem.
This is a great question. And you might be a little surprised at my answer. And I kind of touched on this before. We have to remember that dogs are very, very social creatures, and they will show signs of not being thrilled or happy in many, many different ways. One of those ways is that they will not eat they are alone. And to me, that is the first indication of, hmm, I need to start to watch what is happening with this dog. If I start to use video, and by the way, I think probably the same there as here. You can buy a video camera or use Zoom or something very cheap, right? Very easy nowadays. Um, and so watching the dog and saying, okay, over the course of a couple of weeks or more, I'm going to watch if my dog, let's say, does not eat when I leave and does eat when the person comes over every day. What is the behavior otherwise, right? Is he doesn't eat but he goes to sleep and then eats when someone is there? Well, maybe he's very socially inclined to eat when someone is there. If, however, he doesn't eat, he also whines, he also paces, he also is showing signs of anxiety, then I would be concerned that the potential for this to get worse would be there. Okay. The goal of having a dog eat when left alone is very interesting because it makes us as human beings feel better, right? My dog must be happy because he's eating. Well, good news and bad news. Um, I have seen many, in 22 years, I've seen many thousands of dogs at this point in time. And some of them eat when alone, some of them do not eat when left alone. And that alone, that one and only symptom is not enough to determine that the dog is distressed in either direction. So I will see dogs that we leave a food toy, and they will jump and eat and eat and eat the food toy. And then the moment the food toy is gone, they're screaming and howling and pacing and panting and whining. Okay. Now that does not mean just because they ate the food toy doesn't mean they weren't distressed. And then we have the other side. We have dogs that are like, nah, I don't want to eat when my mom's not home, but I'm okay going to sleep or lying in the sunshine that comes through the window. I just don't really want to eat. So those are two opposite ends. So I think your goal really is to find out, is my dog showing signs of distress in addition to not eating? Because if they're sleeping and they're just like, no, I'm a social eater, I'd rather eat when someone's here, then you know what? I think we're probably okay. But data tracking is something we're going to talk a lot about in the future so that you can look at these individual data points over time and say, yeah, my dog is same, better, worse, and what do I need to do in any of those three situations?
Great answer. Great answer. Nobody likes to eat alone, right?
Nobody.
Not even our dogs.
That's right.
So, just a quick detour on the questions. Just a quick reminder of the amazing quality of content and hearts that you are bringing into our amazing live. Thank you very much, Malena.
Of course.
And I have here one of our attendees, Marta. One of the first I did when I got my puppy was to get a camera so I could watch him when I was away, so I could address any issue as soon as possible. This is really a great tip. Thanks, Malena. So thank you,
Wonderful.
Marta, for being a
Mark.
wonderful dog owner and dog tutor. I always say to her, because she's always here on our classes, she is an example.
Exemplary.
Tutor exemplar. Sorry, how do you say in English?
Exemplary.
Exemplary tutor. So, tutor exemplar, Marta. Tutor
Okay,
exemplar.
perfect.
So, we are almost getting done with the questions here. Alexander Hamush. I film my dog when I leave the house. He spends the whole time barking, crying, howling, and doesn't stand still the whole time. So this is the ones that's right.
These are
the ones.
These are definitely the ones where we have to take a moment and say, okay, my dog is obviously showing signs of pretty significant distress if he is barking, crying, howling, pacing, etc. the whole time you're gone. And now it comes time to make some decisions about how to proceed. And I can't remember whose question it was that I was addressing. That I was saying, okay, we don't, depending on what it is, we don't want to allow or to have the dog experience and rehearse these behaviors every day over and over and over again. I always remind people that dogs, well, all animals, humans included, but dogs become professionals at what they rehearse. And so the more your dog rehearses his barking, crying, howling, and not standing still, the better of a professional at that behavior he will become. And so that's where some decision making comes in. And, it's interesting because years ago, I used to get a lot of pushback about this. And I know every country is different in their availability of dog care and dog services, but I want to remind everybody that the training for separation anxiety is actually temporary. Now, when I say temporary, I can't put an exact number on it. Every dog is a unique individual. Some will be, a month or two. Some will be 2 or 3 months. We don't know. I can't tell you exactly what your individual dog will need. But while we're conducting the training, we're going to arrange that dog's life so that he is not taking the time to rehearse and become more professional at his behavior. And I joke about being a professional at the behavior, but really what's happening here is if on occasion he experiences, whether it's daily or every week or more or every month, he experiences an alone time absence that is way more than he can handle, then we cannot teach, oh, see, it's okay, except for on Tuesdays when I leave you for 10 hours, right? There's no way that we can make him understand that. One of the examples I often use about this is so when you get me to Portugal, you'll have to give me the clue in advance. I'm terrified of spiders. Okay, so I don't know if you have a lot of spiders there, but I'm gonna have to close my eyes if there are. But I'm terrified of spiders. If I said to someone, let's say a counselor, right, a tutor, I would like to get over my fear of spiders, what they might do, which is very similar to working with separation anxiety, they might say, okay, we're going to start. Here's a picture of a spider. Let's get comfortable with that first. And okay, now we have a toy plastic spider, and we're going to put it 20 feet away, and we're going to get comfortable with that. And slowly you can see how this gets a little harder, a little harder, a little harder, as long as I am comfortable. Now, if we did this for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I thought, yeah, I'm getting comfortable with a live spider in a sealed jar 30 feet away. Okay, I can do that right now. And then the very next day, I went to see my counselor, and she poured a bunch of spiders in my hair. Okay. Yeah, you can imagine two things. Number one, I would immediately go back to being terrified of spiders, right? But I also will have lost my trust in the counselor that was helping me. And that is so important. When we're working with separation anxiety, we need to create a contract with our dog that says, I am going to support you, protect you, and keep you safe, and only expose you to the increments of alone time that are safe and for you and that you can tolerate. And yes, it'll be temporary, maybe a couple of months between starting out at a minute or two and building up to 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever it's going to be. But all along the way, I will keep you safe. I will never put spiders in your hair, is really what it comes down to. And I know that for many people sounds overwhelming, but boy, between friends and family and dog walkers and dog sitters and many people, free or low cost resources, this community is exactly the kind of community where people can help find other people to help them. And there are a lot of resources available to you.
Great answer. That's the way to go. And I'm just going to take this great opportunity then to talk a little bit then what we are going to do inside our Dog Summit community. So if you are here in this live with Malena, we are going to spill the beans. And like Malena said, we are going to do a masterclass with Malena, which is going to be multiple initiatives. Okay. It's going to be three-part masterclass. Is going to be like a mini course on separation anxiety and how to handle it. It's going to be amazing. So if you have separation anxiety and you want to learn a little bit more with Malena, you have to be inside our online community. And you may ask, how do I join? You can't, because it's closed. But I have great news for you, because next week we are going to have our event, which is it's called I'm going to talk a little bit in Portuguese. Sorry, Malena. Como decifrar o teu cão, ok? Este evento vai acontecer então na próxima semana, onde vamos aprender então os 7 sinais que precisamos saber para interpretar o nosso cão e conseguimos melhorar o seu comportamento, saúde e bem-estar. E neste evento, ok, nós vamos abrir inscrições para a Academia Dog Summit, ok? Vamos abrir então as inscrições para a nossa comunidade, que até agora esteve fechada. No entanto, vai ser uma oportunidade de que tu não vais perder, porque nós não sabemos quando é que vamos voltar a abrir a nossa comunidade, e depois de fechar não há forma de tu teres a oportunidade de entrares. E nós vamos fazer muitas iniciativas. A partir de agora vamos ter muitos oradores convidados com todas as iniciativas que nós vamos fazer. A Malena é apenas a primeira dos nossos convidados. Nós vamos ter muitos que vêm aí, agora dentro sempre de 15 em 15 dias vamos ter um orador convidado aqui e vamos falar um bocadinho da iniciativa que vamos desenvolver com eles. Portanto, fica já aqui a dica. Próxima semana, dia 4, evento Decifrar o Teu Cão, vai ser a abertura de academia, abertura da nossa comunidade, e tal como a Malena disse aqui e disse muito bem, é com este tipo de comunidades que nós nos rodeamos de pessoas de que verdadeiramente estão todas juntas pelo bem-estar animal e nos podem ajudar a conseguir ter os recursos necessários para podermos ajudar os nossos cães. Eu vou só trazer isto para a Malena porque é extremamente importante. So I just said next week, like I told you, we are going to open our community. So people that really want to check out your course with us on separation anxiety, here's their opportunity to get in this great online community that is Dog Summit. And I finished by paraphrasing what you said, which is this community, it's what it's really about, where we can have people that their main theme or their main mission is to help dogs overcome their fears and to help dogs to get better. So if you need people to help you overcome the fears of your dog, if you need resources, if you need help, if you need somebody to talk to and share the situations that you are going through, and you need to share some tips on how to improve your dog's well-being, this community is for you. So what are you waiting for? See you next week. Right, Malena?
Absolutely. I can't wait to see you all again. And I humbly and excitedly invite you to this community and to see the masterclass later this year. And I am already shocked, amazed, and thrilled at what is being, presented here, offered here. And I know that I'm just one small piece of the community and education that you offer. So thank you for having me.
No, you already know some of the other speakers that I shared with you.
I do.
This it's never been said, okay, publicly. We are spilling the beans, like we are spilling the beans. So if you were just like in a quick, very quick phrase, how do you describe our keynote speakers and in content that we are going to bring in the next couple of months that we are going to have here in Dog Summit? In a quick word.
Well, I guess my quick word is I feel almost, scared and humbled because the speakers and the presenters and the content that is coming your way makes me feel a little intimidated. It is so exciting, so powerful, and these are incredible people and incredible educators.
Thank you very much for these kind words that you shared with us. So I don't know if you have a little bit more time with us to get a little bit one or two more questions. Just you tell me.
I do. I'm okay for another. I have about 15 more minutes, and then I will have to sign off.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So we have a little bit more questions because when we were talking, there were a couple more questions coming our way. So where did we leave? We left in which one did we left? Which one?
It was I want to say it was one of Anna's questions, but I'm looking down and
I think it was. We can do this one.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this one.
Okay.
So Joana Azevedo, my dog 10 months cries, barks, destroys everything while I'm absent. If I leave for 30 minutes or even 8 hours, she cannot stop. She sleeps for 5 minutes, then she starts again. I have the camera since she arrived.
Okay. That's the end of the question? Yes.
Yeah.
Not too far. Okay. Yeah. So obviously I cannot I haven't seen your dog, but based on your description, Jana, I recommend that you start to work towards a concerted training or treatment protocol. If you and one question I would propose to you, you've had the camera since she arrived. If you leave you said for 30 minutes or even 8 hours, if you leave for 5 minutes or 7 minutes or 10 minutes, is she already crying, barking, and destroying things? If that is the case, then we need to back way up We need to back way up and think about my spider story and say, we're going to start by introducing your dog to only absences that your dog can handle
Can tolerate.
and can
Yeah.
tolerate. And that might be a minute, that might be less than a minute. And I know for many people that hear that, they think, well, if I start with 1 minute or 30 seconds, it's going to be 20 years until I can, build up and leave my dog alone. No, 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 no. Yes,
It's
it is.
exponential.
It's exponential. As a matter of fact, it is exactly exponential. I love that you grabbed that term in particular.
Sorry.
Oh, it's great. It's perfect because most people don't understand that the
Yeah.
exponential nature of it, right? So maybe if we started at 30 seconds, maybe it takes days or weeks to get up to several minutes. And then it only takes a little while longer to get up to a half an hour. And then a half an hour becomes an hour. And then it becomes 2 hours and 3 and 4, etc. So the beginning part of a protocol is indeed very slow, but it has to be slow in order to build that foundation for the dog. And I think one of the things that I have to, hopefully for everybody, not just Joanna, but to remember is that these dogs with separation anxiety are actually suffering, okay, when they are alone. And, I know you all are talking about having a very holistic approach to not just physiological well being, but also psychological well being. And I think it's so important to realize that the two very much go hand in hand. And if we are leaving a dog every day, every few days, however often, to cry and bark and destroy and experience extreme panic and distress, that will not only impact their welfare from a psychological component, it will, in time, unfortunately, impact the welfare physiologically as well. We know what the unfortunate outcome is of continued exposure to extreme anxiety, and that is not just psychological, it's also physiological. So and the reason I go into that I want us to all have the necessary empathy for what the dog is going through. One of the most common things that happens when I talk to potential clients is their first reaction is, oh, the neighbors are complaining, and darn it, he chewed up my door, and he cries and he barks, and then the landlord is now mad at me, and oh, he pooped on my carpet every time I go away, and they're frustrated. And those are totally 100% valid feelings. We have to look at those and recognize that we understand those feelings, but we also have to take a moment to have the compassion and empathy for what that dog is experiencing so that we can slow down and take the time to implement the training that we need for them.
Perfect. Great answer. So I have another one here. In Portugal, could you tell us if you have a dog trainer or vet dedicated in separation anxiety? Thanks.
So, not yet. There's no one in
But we
Portugal,
will.
but we will. But we will. Yes, because our certified separation anxiety program is available to dog professionals all around the world, and we have them in a lot of places in Europe. We have them in Australia, we have them in New Zealand, we have them in Asia, we have them in Canada, United States, we have them everywhere. But guess who needs to be next? Portugal.
Yes, that's right. And and again, Joanna, I'm just going to take a quick back. Joanna, I think if we get the best advice for her, it's just to join our community,
That's
and you will get everything that you will need in order for you to get your dog way better. I'm going to just fast forward a little bit because we are getting almost out of time. I just wanted to highlight this comment here, which is from Fatima. She's already a member of our Dog Summit community, so she's also present in almost every initiative that we do. Thank you very much, Fatima, and she's very, very eager and excited for the masterclass. She's also studying for her dog training, so she will love probably your certification. And maybe let's see if Fatima will
Maybe
get
she'll
the
be
challenge.
she'll be our first one, maybe. That's wonderful. Okay, Fatima, I look
Maybe.
forward to that.
Perfect. So maybe we can answer a couple more questions.
Of
We have
course.
10 or 9 more minutes. We had Joanna, so now we have Diana here. Diana Coelho. When we go moved for a new home, it's very important that the dog go with us in different moments to recognize the new place. What steps are okay
I know that.
required, right? What are the steps that are required for a good socialization with the new space and not suffering with the separation anxiety? Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I think there's two answers or two pieces of the answer to this. If every time that you move to a new home, your dog is a little uncertain, a little unsure, a little nervous because this is a brand new environment, that is very normal. Now, some dogs, they could go anywhere and they're fine, but many dogs are unsure about their brand new home, their brand new surroundings, the brand new sights, the brand new smells, the brand new sounds. And so, what I typically recommend is to introduce the dog to the new environment in as safe as a way as possible. And what I mean by that is the first, let's say, week or even more, everything about the new space is as positive as it can be. His bed is there, that he has the good smells from the last house. His toys are there. And most importantly, his favorite treats are there associated with the bed, with the toys, with all of the locations. And we give him time to acclimate to this new environment before we ever introduce something scary like alone time, right? We want him to be comfortable there before we say, okay, I got to go for 4 hours now. We don't want to leave him that first time when he's not ready to be alone in an environment that is unfamiliar. So introducing them slowly over a week or two or more to each new environment, I think is important. The one thing, and if you scroll to the second comment, the part of the comment, not suffer. I knew there was something. So I want to make sure I point something out here, Diana, that we will talk about this in our masterclass, but we cannot prevent something that we don't know the exact cause of. And so I could tell you all day long all these things to do so that your dog won't develop separation anxiety, but we're not even 100% sure why dogs get separation anxiety. And one of the larger components that we're discovering is genetics. And so if your dog has a genetic predisposition to separation anxiety, that doesn't mean he cannot be treated or the behavior cannot be modified. But it does mean that all the things that you may try might not fix what was already there from his genetic predisposition. And that's why I just wanted to mention that, because it may be that your dog, or any dog that we're talking about here, already has a little bit of a history or a predisposition with separation anxiety. And then we're going to start working on the problem in addition to introducing them to the new space?
Man, we could just talk hours
We
just
could.
on this small topic.
Yes.
I was just like trying to hold myself because like so much. So we are really running out of time, and there was like a whole bunch of new comments that came into existence here, but we are really going to close. So I'm just going to highlight here some of the great comments that we have here. We have Alexandra really thanking you a lot. Joanna is for sure joining the community, so you will meet Joanna in
You
video.
again,
So
Joanna.
that will be perfect. Marta, thank you very much, Malena, for your time. Amazing class here. And then we have more comments here on Marta. Thank you so much for your time, Malena. Thanks once again for the great content Dogs Summit. Thank you as well. I hope you really enjoy it, and we will see you next Wednesday with more content. And probably next Wednesday we are going to have this amazing event, but we are going to talk a little bit more about that. We are going to get the opportunity to say goodbye to Malena, and thank you again for this amazing time that she spent with us, this almost 1 hour and a half of her time. And it's an amazing opportunity to have such a renowned keynote speaker and trainer on this subject. So really, thank you very much, Malena, for this time. Okay, another comment thanking you. Thanks for everything from Diana. Malena, it's been a wonderful time here with you. I'm just going to again remind people, if you want to know a little bit more about Malena, her work, and her certification, just check out her website. There's all of her information here about Malena. You can meet her, learn a little bit more about her work, her specials, degrees here. She has lots of international certifications that normally we love. We normally only get keynote speakers and dog trainers from PPG or IPDT. So these are the ones that normally we reach out. So again, thank you very much. I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm really a little bit emotional, and thank you very much for this amazing opportunity, because it's not every time that we have opportunity to have here 1 hour and a half to share with such a good person like you.
Oh. Well, I really appreciate your comment, but before we wrap up, I think I need to turn the tables on you a little bit and say,
Sure.
you know, when I've spoken with you last time and also today, what you are bringing to your community, to your country, to really the world, and certainly the world surrounding you right there, is so huge, is so impactful. And what you are doing is bringing a level of understanding, education, and inspiration to a community that is so desperate for what you're providing. And they would have never had the opportunity, whether it's me or any of the other really kind of amazing speakers that you've got coming, to get that level of education without what you are doing. So before I go, and I know we're at the very last moment, but anybody that's still here, will you say thank you, not to me, but to this wonderful human being? Because I want to see the chat box light up with a bunch of thank yous, right? Yeah, Celeste, you're right. Those are big thank yous. Very, very thanks. So my thanks is to you, okay?
Thank you again very much. Christina, she's not here, as you know, but she sends you so much love and amazing joy for you and for you to be a part of our online community. And I'm getting a little bit emotional, but thank you again. And I really hope that we can continue our work together, and we are doing our best to organize back our events because we are missing those so dearly. Okay, we did lots of them, and that's where we can connect with people and enjoy the good relationship, and those are the ones that makes me really get excited. So this whole online community is really good thing in order to share information or to reach out to people, but really what makes me get excited is the opportunity for next week to bring people like you to Portugal and do an amazing event. So I hope I can count on you, and then we will discuss details for sure. I already see here the chat because they have a little bit delay. So thank you, João and Cristina. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
There we go.
yes, you are very, very loved, Joe.
Malena, cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll continue talking. Okay?
Yeah. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you for having me.
E prontíssimo. A nossa querida Malena teve que seguir, no entanto, ali no backstage. Portanto, tchau, Malena. Espero que vocês tenham gostado da mesma forma como eu adorei estar aqui e disponibilizar-vos esta oportunidade de conhecerem esta profissional excelente do mundo animal, okay, que tinha mesmo que vir cá falar um bocadinho sobre este tema. Eu percebi-me que nós tínhamos este tema agendado nas nossas aulas gratuitas a semana passada e nós tivemos uma pequena reunião com a Malena para então decidirmos fazer uma masterclass para dentro da nossa comunidade, e eu comentei com ela que nós íamos ter então uma aula gratuita a falar sobre este tema. Ela, sério? Ai, olha, tenho todo o gosto em ir falar um bocadinho porque eu adoro esse tema, tenho todo o gosto em ir. Então nós fizemos logo aqui o convite, não era suposto, porque nós só íamos fazer isto depois do lançamento, ok? Tendo em consideração que o lançamento era na próxima semana, mas ela tinha disponibilidade para o dia de hoje, nós tínhamos que aproveitar para vos mostrar e trazer a qualidade dos profissionais que nós estamos a trabalhar para vos providenciar, ok? É do coração mesmo para conseguirmos criar uma comunidade de pessoas que possa mesmo crescer juntos, ok? E aprender juntos, ok? Uma academia aqui online com literalmente a liga de campeões dos treinadores do mundo, onde nós podemos verdadeiramente aprender os conhecimentos mais importantes para lembrar que no nosso dia a dia. Isto é para tutores que verdadeiramente querem aprender a melhorar a relação com o seu cão, é para treinadores que querem melhorar a qualidade dos seus treinos, é para profissionais que trabalham com cães que querem aprender a melhorar as suas práticas, é para todas as pessoas, porque nós vamos trabalhar desde os conteúdos mais avançados aos conteúdos mais simples, e nós vamos trazer o melhor que existe no mundo para vocês. Okay? É essa a missão do Dog Summit, é isso que estamos a fazer desde 2018 e vamos continuar. Portanto, eu vou só deixar ficar aqui mais uma vez. Vamos abordar aqui a landing page, exatamente. Eu vou só aproveitar e também pôr isto aqui no chat e também vou fazer in message para vocês poderem ir dar lá meus olhos. Fica aqui então o reto. Se ainda não está inscrito para o evento da próxima semana, o que é que tu estás à espera? Não podes perder. 2 a 8 evento Como se faz o tutorial, onde vamos ensinar aqui os 7 sinais que todos nós precisamos saber para evitarmos o nosso cão, conseguimos melhorar o comportamento e saúde do nosso patudo. Ok? Nós, a partir deste evento, vamos abrir então as inscrições para a nossa academia, para a nossa comunidade, e se queres fazer parte de todas as iniciativas que nós vamos organizar no próximo ano, ok? Portanto, isto é uma anuidade, nós quando abrimos a nossa academia é por anuidade. A última vez que nós abrimos foi no pré-lançamento da nossa academia, foi em dezembro, portanto estamos agora em maio, é o lançamento que nós estamos a fazer, e é a oportunidade que tu tens de entrar na nossa academia para poderes consumir e aprender todo o conhecimento que nós vamos utilizar com oradores como a Malena e todos os outros que vêm aí, que nós depois na próxima semana vamos vos mostrar. Os separadores e os temas que nós vamos abordar. Fica já aqui então este teaserzinho aqui. Celeste, muito obrigado pelo amor que estás a espalhar aqui no chat. E espero contar com vocês na próxima semana e com muitos de vocês que estão aqui, que têm interesse, que queiram entrar na nossa comunidade, querem fazer parte desta nossa comunidade, querem ir connosco. São todos bem recebidos, de braços abertos. E por favor, ainda vos dar uma dela no edifício. Meninos e amigos, beijinhos e até uma próxima. Tchau! É assim.